Relationship 360. My guest, let me introduce him, is seated right beside me, ish, kind of, depending on the arrangement of the studio. His name is Olumide Kayode Omosebi. He is a lawyer and he's also the CEO of Gnosis Help Initiative. Good morning, JP.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
Good to see you. Good to see you.
Same here, same here, same here. Good to see you. Good to have you on the show this fine Saturday evening. Thank you very much. Thank you. I'm waiting for Jimmy to come and I want to hear what he'll say about this one. He said that this one is not follow because this one is not follow actually. Alright, thank you so much.
So, good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us again. It's so early in the morning. Great to have you with us. So, last week I started what I titled anomalies.
Yeah.
That is anomalies. The noun anomaly comes from the Greek word anomalia, which means uneven or irregular, when something is unusual compared to normal things. It is called an anomaly. The Britannica defines an anomaly as something that is unusual or unexpected. The first anomaly was the parent/family anomaly, where I defined who a parent is and what makes you a parent. While the anomaly here is that being a parent who is supposed to protect the child, the parents are now the ones devouring the child. When parents are comfortable in the misery and pain of their offspring, those parents who send back their children, who are in abusive marriages and relationships, those who supervise the affliction by saying, sorry, just go back, and we all went through some similar things, no marriage is perfect, just go back. That is an anomaly. I brought up a lady whose own mother was the principal witness against her in a case I handled in the recovery of her daughter. Her mother, who stayed with her for a while, ended up conspiring with her husband to take a 6-month-old child. That was the only surviving child of the woman, having lost 2. That was the only surviving, and the mother came around to take care of the child. And the next thing, people started telling her, the neighbor said, wait, this is your mother and your husband, going in, coming out. And she said, no, she's my mother. My mother loves me. And when she told me, I said, you need to pay attention to when warnings are becoming more than one, coming from more than one person. You need to pay attention. She said, that is my mother. If I had grown this old and she had not killed me, then, I said, okay. One day she gets a call from the daycare that her husband came to take the child. She said, okay, that's my husband. And that was the last day she saw husband and daughter. And, it was more heartbreaking. When she came over here, she called to the station and she came to my office. We helped her recover the child. And when the case started, the husband did not come with his own family. He came with the mother of the wife and her siblings to testify against her.
So what was their argument?
He said that she was not fit to be a mother. Why? He said one day she was in a supermarket and she was doing video call with another man. She was dancing, that she's always drunk, that she's always this. She comes home very late. The mother was saying things that it now started becoming absurd. The policemen were like, for your mother to come and testify against you must be a very bad person. But when they were now telling, the stories were now getting so much that the police was like, only this woman. There was also another incident that they had prosecuted to court, and the man was almost being sentenced for You know, this kind of abuse that you grab a woman by her hair, pull out her hair. So her hair, things wasn't straight anymore. You know, the scalp had peeled. You know, all those. So wow. It was obvious to the court that this was. And the next thing, the hearing before sentencing, a woman raises up her hands in court. And the magistrate looks up and says, "Who is her?" And she says, "I am her mother." And the magistrate says, "Okay, do you want to?" She said, "I have something to say." And the next thing, she comes on the witness stand and says, "You know, yes, I know this is going on, but you see, my daughter has a sharp tongue. And at times she says something that will provoke her husband to beat." So next thing, she started changing and giving testimony against her own daughter, who was coming from the hospital to the. So these are anomalies. When you're the parent now who is supposed to protect, especially the victim. We're not saying parents should come and start lying, but when your child is the victim, and then the parents are testifying, standing and fighting with their abuser against their own children. When your child is being beaten and then you call the abuser, the wife who is beating the husband or throwing the husband things out, or and you call, and instead of standing for your child, you now start begging, "Please, Emma, don't be angry, forgive her or him." For what? They are the victims. These are what I call anomalies, and I have told you that because a woman gave birth to you, the dictionary definition of a mother is the one who begats, who carries the pregnancy, and the dictionary definition of a father is the cause of a pregnancy, that is the sperm donor. When someone carries a child and then nurses the child and then grows up to now work against the child, the fact that you gave birth to a child does not make you the parent of the child. The fact that you adopted the child does not make you the parent of the child. And the fact that you raised a child like you raised your brother's children or your brother's child in your house does not make you a parent, because by the Collins Dictionary, you can be a parent by 3 ways. That is by birth, that is by conception, by adoption, and by raising and care. You know, at times you raise other people's children. It does not make you a parent. A parent is the person who always acts in the best interest of the child. Not their own best interest, but in the best interest for the child. That is, so your parent might be somebody you don't even know, who would stand up for you. I was telling the lady, I said, I am more of a parent than your own parent. I'm more of your own parent. So these are anomalies. These are things that are away from the normal thing. And I would like to tell you that not every parent is a parent. When you keep the eyes, my mother gave birth to me or raised me or they adopted me, not everybody is your parent. So stop thinking that every parent is your parent and what they tell you is what you should do. Anyone that does not act in your best interest, whether they gave birth to you or not, is not your parent. As we have seen that over 55% of failures in marriage and marital breakups are not from the husband or the wife, but from in-laws or family members interfering in their family matters. There's one that is telling them, you know, she gave birth to 2. The mother-in-law is saying, no, we have to have 4 children here. Then they now start arguing that I cannot bear, and they say, well, they will bring a woman that will bear the remaining 2 if you cannot, and then the son is supporting their parent. You know, there are times it is not, the problem is not from the spouses. The problem is from a mother or a father-in-law, or the sister, or the brother. I told you of a case where the wife is 18 years older than the younger brother of the husband, and he came to eat, and she cooked, she served him. And then after eating, he called her to come and pack his plate, and she laughed and said, well, she's going out. And said, that I am your brother's, she thought he was joking until he gave her the command that she should come and pack the plates. And she was like, are you all right? And the next thing, he gets up and says she's not, unless she packs and washes the dishes. It became an argument, and he slapped the lady. Then, she didn't say anything. She just called the husband and said, your younger brother just slapped me. And the first thing he said was, what did you do? And she said, what did I do? Is that the next line of question? Or what did he? What has he done?
Happened? If you don't want to
that was where the problem came in. He's my brother in a house, and that was where the problem came. They were okay until a brother came into the house. So this is the problem. Not every family is family. Not every parent is parent. Anybody that will not work in your best interest, which is to protect you from problem. It is an anomaly. Where you are supposed to love me because I am married to you. That is what is called a spouse. A spouse is defined as people married to each other. Do you understand? So when a spouse begins to work against the other half, that is, husband begins to work against wife, wife begins to work against husband, it is an anomaly. It is unusual. It is not supposed to happen. Now, today we are having some guests in the studio. I want to show everyone what an anomaly is in marriage. We will give you a live presentation.
So husband and wife are coming in to share. No wife, or just wife?
Wife and mother are coming. I would want you to brace up yourselves, ladies and gentlemen, because there are some things you will hear today that you have never heard before. So wake up your husband, wake up your wife, call your friend, tell them to tune in to 99.3 FM, because what you are about to hear is going to be on another level. I want to, first of all, play a song for us. I want us to listen to this song and remember this song, and remember, parents, remember, children, remember this song. For those of you that are not married, for those of you that are in marriage, for those of you that are about to, remember the wordings of this song. So I would hand over to Madam Olumide now.
Mommy,
That's Shioriri by Christy SC and Igbo Koyo 99.3 Nigeria Info. It's Relationship 360 if you're wondering where that song is coming from and why it's coming from. If you were here before the break, my guest mentioned that you were expecting a guest or a pair on the show this morning, not like daughter, to share their experience regarding the conversation and anomalies, I guess it's family dynamics, right? So my guest has a reason or a purpose for playing that song, and we'll definitely get to it once our invited guests join us, which is in a very, very brief moment. Okay, so stay with us. Very soon we'll be opening the phone lines for you to join the discourse and the conversation. So just listen, and you have an opportunity to have a conversation with us, calling, speak with our guests live as they join us in the studio. If you're just tuning in, the show is called Relationship 360. My name is Olumide Kayode. My guest is Olumide Kayode Omosebi. He's a lawyer and the CEO of Gnosis Health Initiative. This show caters to relationship issues, alright? So that's what we're going to be discussing up until some minutes before 9 a.m. where the discourse with Jimmy Lucy will be coming on air for about an hour. And then at 10 we're going to have the GX show. And I already said that at 10:30, right after the GX show, a brand new show is debuting on the belt this Saturday morning, alright? Specifically designed for your children, so get your children if they're still sleeping. If you're in the kitchen now, blending your beans, getting ready to make morning for breakfast. I the usual Nigerian Saturday morning breakfast. Just make sure that your kids are ready by 10:30 to join the conversation. All right. My guest is here, and our guests are here as well. But I'm hearing a device ringing. Could we please silence that? Thank you so much. While I will allow Olumide do us the honor of introducing us to our very beautiful guests who have joined us this morning.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your patience, everybody. Well, our guests have finally arrived. I had to quickly step out of the studio. Thank God they are here. So I have with us Mrs. Precious Ogbonna and her mother. Precious, how are you? Can you say good morning to everybody? Move closer.
Good morning, everyone.
Hi, Precious. How are you doing?
I'm fine.
Thank you so much for joining us live in our studio today.
Thank you.
Mommy, good morning, ma. Welcome, ma.
Good morning, Mommy. Thank you for joining us today.
So, what is Mommy's maiden name, Kongo?
Beatrice.
Mrs. Beatrice
Exactly.
Okay, fantastic. So, Precious, where are you from? What is your state and your local government area?
I'm from Ata Ikedra in Imo State.
In Imo State. Okay.
Yes.
So you're more comfortable.
Okay. So let me just go straight into the conversation because we have about 15 minutes. So Precious, how long have you been married and how many children?
12 years, 3 kids.
12 years and 3 kids. Can you just know how the journey of marriage has been so far?
It has been like a hell on earth.
Wow.
12 years of sorrow, tears, pains.
Tell me some of the things that happened.
Okay. Right from the first month, or let's say first year of the marriage, each time my husband had financial challenges and all that, he keeps telling me that I'm the one that is causing his problems, his financial challenges and all that. Sorry.
Sincere apologies for the interruption. Go ahead.
He's this kind of person that believes that anytime you're having any challenge, financial challenges and all that, maybe your wife is a witch or something like that. So because of that, each time he's having any financial challenges, he comes up calling me, my family, that we are witches and all that. Before he knows it insults to beat him.
See that he didn't have financial challenges before he got married.
When we got married, he was just a young guy that was coming up. When we rented our first apartment, there was nothing inside the house because there was no money. In fact, when he was even doing my marriage, right, he couldn't finish up some certain things that he was meant to do because there was no fund. So, but from that first year, that was when the, beating started.
We're streaming live on Instagram. You can be a part of this conversation online at Gnosis_help, GNOSIS_help. So I have some very graphic pictures of your body. How, in fact, it's what exactly, with all the violence, why did you remain in the marriage? Describe some of the violence. Let's start with that. Describe some of the violence, like the picture I have, the one with your hand in. What did he use?
He uses a lot of things. Sometimes cane, sometimes gun.
He has a gun.
Yes.
And he uses the gun to hit you.
Yes, he has this long double barrel. Then he has another short one. So if he's beating you now, if he feels that maybe beating you with hand is not enough, anything that's that you will just use it. So it's not something that have happened once, twice. It's something that happens as in every time. Is every day something. At a time, I got used to it. That that just.
Did you tell your parents?
I told them for like a couple of times, because what he does after beating me, he will throw me out. I will go to my sister's place to stay. Then after a while, he will come and apologize that he's sorry and all that. I will not even tell my parents. I will go back to him. I will have some issues with my parents. After some time, they will start talking with me again.